The Curtain Hijab was the name of the most popular brothel in Jahilia. An enormous palazzo of date palms and bewildering mosaic patterns, permeated by labyrinth corridors which had been deliberately decorated to look alike, each of them bearing the same calligraphic invocations to love, each carpeted with identical rugs, each with a large stone urn positioned against a wall. It was a soft, windowless universe of draperies, ruled over by the ancient and nameless Madam of the Curtain, whose guttural utterances from the secrecy of a chair, shrouded in black veils, had acquired, over the years, something of the oracular. Neither her staff nor her clients were able to disobey that sibylline voice that was, in a way, the profane antithesis of Mahoun's sacred utterances in a larger, more easily penetrable tent not so very far away. So that when the raddled poet Baal prostrated himself before her and begged for help, her decision to hide him and save his life was accepted without question.
Baal's sojourn behind the curtain by no means deprived him of information about events outside. Quite the reverse, in fact, because in the course of his uniquely duties, he stood guard outside the pleasure chambers and heard the customers' gossip. The absolute indiscretion of their tongues, induced by the gay abandon of the horse caresses and the client's knowledge that their secrets would be kept, gave the eavesdropping poet, myopic and hard of hearing as he was, a better insight into contemporary affairs than he could possibly have gained had he been free to wander the newly puritanical streets of the town. The deafness was a problem sometimes. It meant that there were gaps in his knowledge, because customers frequently lowered their voices and whispered. But this reduced the prurient element in his listenings in, since he was unable to hear the murmuring that accompanied fornication, except, of course, at such moments in which clients or feigning workers raised their voices in cries of real or synthetic joy.
Baal had begun to change. The news of the destruction of the great temple of Alat at Taif, which came to his ears punctuated by the grunts of the covert pig-sticker Ibrahim, had plunged him into a deep sadness. Because even in the high days of his young cynicism, his love for the goddess had been genuine, perhaps his only genuine emotion. And her fall revealed to him the hollowness of a life in which the only true love had been felt was for a lump of stone that couldn't fight back. When the first sharp edge of grief had been dulled, Baal became convinced that Alat's fall meant that his own end was not far away. He lost that strange sense of safety that life at the curtain had briefly inspired in him, but the returning knowledge of his impermanence, of certain discovery followed by equally certain death, did not, interestingly enough, make him afraid. After a lifetime of dedicated cowardice, he found, to his great surprise, that the effect of the approach of death did enable him to taste the sweetness of life. And he wondered at the paradox of having his eyes open to such a truth in that house of costly lies.